All right, Baby Dude is back with a Baby Dude interview. Today we have Cameron Ferre, drag racer. More importantly, dad. So we wanted to get you on here today to ask you a few questions about drag racing and being a dad. How's everything going?
Good, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me. We're just hanging out here in this weird time of life.
So weird. What have you guys been doing? I know, how old's your son?
He's 20 months as of last week, and just a terror. He's an animal. But the good thing is with what's going on in the world with the pandemic and all that stuff has allowed me to not have to do as much traveling because races are shut down right now. So I've been able to spend pretty much every single day with my kid, which has just been awesome. And we've just been playing as much as we can around the house and around our little community.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's good to be outside, and you're California as well, right?
Yeah, I live in Huntington Beach, California.
Huntington Beach, and I'm here in LA. It's raining today, so not too much outside, but it's good to have time being home. But I guess quick question is, like, 20 months, my boy's 2.
Nice.
It's not always just easy though, right? It's not just always playing.
You know what, man? Like, that's what's wild. Like, you know, you kind of get jaded in like your routine and your schedule. And my son's name is Jet, and Jet is on my wife has him on like a really rigorous schedule. It's just kind of worked out for us as far as, his naps, his eat, sleep, nap kind of thing. And, with us being home so much, my wife is actually working from home too. So he's just all messed up. I mean, he loves it because he gets to play with mom and dad all the time, but he's bouncing off the walls. So it's been an interesting adjustment, and so far so good.
So I think this is a cool interview for us to do because looking for extreme dads, right? So you are a Top Fuel drag racer. So if people don't know, it's a car that looks like this. This is one of my boys' toys, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Can you talk about a little bit about how you got into that and how, I guess NHRA, because I grew up watching it, is a family sport. Like, I grew up going, my dad always took me when I was little. Tell people maybe how you can see that translating into more people going as families.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my career started, I kind of just always been into racing my whole life. I used to race BMX and motorcycles when I was a kid. I started racing bicycles when I was 3 years old, and just kind of fell in love with going fast and jumping higher, and always wanted to be like my brother and go higher and faster than he did. So that kind of progressed into the racing world, which I always wanted some sort of go-kart or dragster or whatever. They actually make what's called a junior dragster for children that are actually, now you can start when you're 5. When I was younger, it was the minimum age was 8. But from 5 to 18 years old, you can drive a dragster as a kid. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever when my dad took me to the races, and I saw him on display, and I was like, man, Dad, that's what I want to do. Absolutely. He's like, yeah, well, we live at the beach, we're racing fans, but we never really been involved in the sport. We surf, skate, race bikes and things like that, but nothing really too crazy. So he's like, you're gonna have to mow a lot of lawns if that's something you want to do. At the time I was like, okay, fine. So, we had 3 kids, and, like I said, we grew up at the beach. So I was a child actor, and I told my parents I only wanted to act if I was able to make money to race and to buy my own race cars. And so
wow.
It was a hard sell as a 12-year-old kid by the time I was able to acquire the funding. But I was cast in some commercials and movies and stuff. But the biggest thing that I ever did was Jack Frost with Michael Keaton, the Christmas movie. And I was a bully in that movie, and that was able to give me the financial independence to buy my own race cars and whatnot at 12 years old. So I started my career in the junior dragster world and just kind of progressed my way through the ranks. And I always dreamed of being a professional race car driver and, driving 330 miles an hour for part of my living, but I never thought it would actually happen. So it's been pretty cool to go from the absolute bottom to not knowing, anything about the sport, or just being an avid fan, to being actually one of the drivers. So that's been really cool, and that just kind of goes to show you how lovable and family oriented the sport is. So it allowed me to have a ton of time with my dad, and my parents are obviously still together and stuff, but it was just like a good father son bonding time. And my sister and my brother, they're super into it, watching me and stuff. So everybody kind of goes to the races and supports me, and that's how I got started. As far as just loving the sport, going with my family, and checking it out, and it kind of turned into a career. So it's been quite a wild ride, to be honest. And I got my kid out there now. He comes to every race that he possibly can that we have our motorhome at, and he's able to travel to. So he loves it. He loves the sound. His name is Jet, so he's he's pretty much primed and destined to be in some sort of motorsports arena, whether it's a dirt bike or whatever. So we're pretty happy.
Well, so when is the Cameron Ferre movie coming out? So you started as an actor, you bought your own cars to race, and now you are the professional. Like, who's going to play you? What's the movie there?
I'd love to play myself, to be honest.
They're perfect. And Jet can be you.
Yeah, that's right. I could use a couple more bucks to go racing, especially being a dad and a family man now. Life gets pretty expensive quickly.
Yes. My sister-in-law will kill me if I don't ask, how is Michael Keaton?
I'd rather not say. No, he was all right. It was a children's movie, and I mean, he really didn't have too much time for the kids, I guess you would say.
It's a bummer, but
everybody was super psyched because he was Batman.
He was Batman. Yeah, that's exactly what I was like thinking.
And, I guess the political answer was he was a nice enough guy, but maybe not when you're 13.
Fair enough. Quick, now we're move on to parenting a little bit. So this is professional drag racing guy. Tools are a big deal for you, right? You fix stuff. You teach at a college.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. I also teach. I teach auto collision at Cerritos College.
Awesome, dude! You're doing everything. The movie's got to come.
Heck yeah.
So, as a dad, what was, when he was younger, and probably still now, what was one of the main, I guess, tools? Like, 'cause I do these baby reviews. What's a good tool that was like your go-to baby product that was like your thing that saved you?
For him or me?
For you, to help him.
Oh, to help him. Okay. Well, to be honest with you, he's only 19, 20 months old. So I'm actually sitting here at my desk in my garage, but I open up the drawers and he loves wrenches. He loves ratcheting wrenches. And you see a go-kart behind me. I put him on that thing, and he loves to take everything, like the nuts and bolts off, and I just let him go. I've kind of always been a guy that, I was raised this way, so I guess that's how my parenting skills are. Like, they never really told me no when it came to like, hey, you're gonna get hurt, or hey, don't do that, you might pinch your fingers or whatever. Like, he has his own drawers in my toolbox with his cars and all his little toys and stuff. Plus, I put wrenches and stuff in there, so he loves anything that ratchets. He's all about it.
Very cool. Your moment of, holy crap, I'm a dad. Like, I mean, every parent has like a poop story, or one you're just like, I have no idea what the hell is going on. I'm sure you have a story there, one that sticks out.
Yeah. Well, I don't have too many, because to be honest with you, my wife is one of the awesomest mothers that you could absolutely have. So, we're kind of doing it together, but she kind of keeps me grounded and, keeps me moving. But there's one story that I was kind of like, when he was first really little, my wife's from Canada. So her parents came to visit us, and we went to like one of those hibachi grills, like where they cook in front of you, like a Benihana kind of place. And Jet was like an infant, and he's like, oh, he went to the bathroom, and let me go change his diaper or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. We were in the corner of the restaurant. And so it was real dark, because it's like a teppanyaki place or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'll just do it right here in his stroller. Like, that way it just doesn't turn into a whole thing. Well, I thought he just went pee. Well, he didn't. And I went and I took the diaper out like this. Well, come to find out, it was full of some other stuff. And it just
God.
all over the side of the stroller. And just like, I was dying. Like, I was so embarrassed. And yeah, and luckily it was dark in this restaurant, because I was just like, oh my gosh, like, just dad life to the max, But there's been a couple of those, but yeah, I mean, I love every second of it, and we'll end up having more kids eventually. But yeah, it's been quite a journey so far.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. My wife is pregnant now, so we're like,
Oh,
we're looking
congrats.
at number two. Thank you.
Very nice.
So adding another one, like now it's 2-on-1 right now. Now we're going zone defense. I have no idea what the hell is going to happen. Do you have a moment with Jet where you're like, oh my God, this is my boy? Like you're proud. Like for example, we have a house we just moved into here, and we have a back room where I made my man cave office thing. I put a basketball hoop up. He walks into that little office, shuts the doors. I'm like, what is this kid doing? I walk in there. He's trying to shoot. And I'm like, dude, this is my – I love basketball. Like, this is my guy. What's your, like, moment where you're like, this is my boy?
Yeah, I guess you could say there's a couple. Which crazy. It's like you always dream of, like, having a kid that wants to be like you, or to be into the things that you want him to be into. Like, you know, for me, racing or motorcycles, or, you know, that's what I did and I love. And so to see him naturally gravitate to, he's got all these cars and dirt bikes and all this stuff, and you'll walk in the living room and he's down there with his little dirt bikes, and you'll tell him, Jet, whip it, and he like whips it like the pros do, and it's just, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so my kid. He has like obviously the little dragsters like you've pulled up and stuff, and you know, he'll look at me and he'll have the car in his hand and he'll say dad, and like it's wild. And as you can see, there's a bunch of pictures on our wall in our garage, and you know, we have some dirt bikes and stuff right here too, and I set him on the dirt bikes, and he points in and says dad, mama, and because my wife races too. And
oh, awesome.
It's crazy to see, like, I'm just like, man, like this is cool. I hope he sticks with it. And you know, he's super into his bicycle. We have a little Strider bike, so if anybody, I'm a firm believer in those Strider bikes. He's, like I said, he just turned 20 months, and the kid is ripping down hills, and we have some jumps by our house in the wetlands, and he goes for it, man. It's awesome. And you know, I think hopefully he'll be a little protege, you know.
For sure. Like, what is this bike? I haven't heard of that.
It's called a Strider bike.
Okay.
It's basically, it's a balance bike it's a bicycle but has no pedals. So they basically learn the balance of a bike without the training, because training wheels are actually one of the worst things you can put on a kid, because it teaches them bad habits, and they just lean over and they'll just start to pedal. And then when you go to take them off, they just tip over all the time. Well, the theory and the idea with a balance bike is they don't have any pedals, and so they glide with it. So actually I have it. This.
Very cool.
This is customized with his name on it, but so it doesn't have any pedals. It's just, they just run around on it. And so it teaches them all the fundamentals you would need to be on a bike. So he's like literally ready for pedals. It's insane. He's not yet. And like he rips around on this thing like he's going to the X Games. It's crazy.
Dude, that's a baby dude fail for me right there. I've never heard of that thing. It looks awesome. I got to get my boy on one of those.
They're some guy, I guess, invented them, and you know, it's the craze like in the action sports world, and I think they're great. I'm a firm advocate of it. There's tons of different companies, but Strider Bike is the one who invented it or whatever. But basically, any bicycle company, SE Bikes, Haro, whatever, Specialized, they all make a version of it. So
has he taken some decent spills on it? Did he get back up? And
last weekend, that's what I was telling my mom and my wife. I said, you know, he's an animal on this thing. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when he goes for his first big digger, and if he's going to want to get back up or not. And
right.
And last weekend we took him to the jumps over, you know, mind you, he's not he's a baby, but we right. Down the hill, and he goes for it. You know, we're not pushing him. And he went down one, and we stand right next to him as he goes or whatever. And he kind of got like the whiskey throttle, and his arms started going, and he just crossed his arms and slammed down on the ground. And, you know, he cried for like 2 seconds and then got up and jumped back on it and said, more. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, there we go. So obviously he's still fearless. So,
what are you guys feeling about racing now? I know the schedule's been pushed.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the whole?
To be honest with you, we're supposed to go back to the tour early June, but they already have tentative makeup dates for the first couple of races that they've posted. And honestly, I personally can't see it going back to normal in June. You know, my guesstimate is more so in midsummer. if anything. I mean, society might go back to, daily life, but getting 30, 40,000 people, at a stadium per se or a racetrack probably isn't the best of ideas. I mean, I would love to say, yeah, tomorrow, because I mean, I'm just sitting here kind of going stir crazy, and we all want to race and, go back to our lives. But for instance, we have little kids. So, I mean, we don't want this to, I know it's not catering towards little kids right now, but it could, and you got to be careful. And my sister has a newborn. My grandma lives with my parents. So it's just, you got to really be careful. It's not you, the person, it's mostly everybody else. As far as how that's going to go, I mean, look at Disneyland. Major League Baseball isn't even going yet. So, I mean, it's kind of a big deal.
I mean, drag racing's a super expensive sport. Would they ever consider doing it without fans?
There's been discussions about that. And my personal opinion on that is probably no. And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of people that live off the fans, right? Their livelihood comes from the fans, selling T-shirts, selling those dragsters, people buying beer, people buying a sandwich or whatever from, paying for parking, like all this stuff, like the tracks need that revenue. So I think it would be a detriment to the industry as a whole if they start to do that.
Everything just sucks. I mean, like you said, at least we can play outside a little bit. And my in-laws actually live next door. So
cool.
Yeah, so we have game nights on Saturday night and things like that. But yeah, I miss going out. I miss going to the gym and doing that whole thing. And
yeah, it's been crazy. Like, with me being a teacher too, that's kind of affected my life. I mean, I'm 100% teaching online now, which is fine. I mean, but the things that I teach are basically lab courses. So it's hard to teach somebody how to fix a car or be like, so hopefully we can get back to the regular scheduled program before too long, but if not, we're making do. So.
Yeah, I work with special needs kids at a high school here in Southern California, and we're done. Like we're done for the rest of the year. So we're all online as well, trying to figure something out. But
yeah, it's crazy, man. Like even like our summer school courses, they announced them, but we had to modify our curriculum and have no lab classes. It's all just online. So
I have a question from my dad. I talked to him. He's a big drag racing fan. I think actually you met my dad on the starting line. We have a picture.
Yes.
I'll post that when I put this video. He wanted to know, what is your favorite track to race at?
I would say Bandimere Speedway in Denver, Colorado,
that is a
golden area. That place is, I guess I'd say two. Pomona, because it's my backyard. It's my house, I guess you'd say. I've done very well there. There's been a lot of things that my career started there. And to be able to say that you started in a junior dragster and be able to drive a top fuel dragster at the same track, I guess that's kind of like the whole like gamut of my being. So that's super cool. But if I had to pick, I would be Bandimere Speedway in Denver. It's basically carved out of the side of a mountain, and just the sounds and the sights. I mean, yeah, it's they call it Mile High because of the altitude, so the cars don't run as far as performance the best, but it's just the atmosphere. The track is beautiful. Everything about the facility, I really like it. I did win a couple national championships there in the junior dragsters too, so it has a special place in my heart too. But aside from that, that would be the one.
Well, my dad's going to be bummed because we grew up in Minnesota, so Brainerd is his jam. He's been every single Brainerd race.
Yeah. Brainerd is wild too with the whole zoo thing they got on there, and it is an interesting thing outside of the actual racing itself. So.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to plug in here before we sign out? Where we can follow you on Instagram or YouTube, or obviously Fox Sports 1 when you guys start racing again and things like
absolutely.
that?
You guys can just search my name if you guys are interested in following my son or myself. My Instagram is just Cameron Ferre, Ferre is how you spell my last name. And pretty much any social media platform, you can just search my name and it'll come up: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And Jet, my son, also has one too, Jet Ferre. He's got a little social media page that we post all of his fun bike stuff and toys and so you can catch him too.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, well, I'll post all that stuff on here as well. Dude, thank you so much for taking a little time out of hopefully playing and
Yeah.
hanging out and talking a little bit. Like I'm trying to find the coolest extreme parents I can find on here. And you seem like a real badass dude, man. Like,
yeah, well, I appreciate it. And, thank you guys for having me and thinking of me for sure. I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I've had, and, hopefully my career isn't done yet. It's just getting started. And, my parenting career is pretty awesome too. I love being a dad. And for anybody that's watching this that is on the fence about being a parent, there's nothing in the world like it. And I highly recommend it, and you will not be disappointed.
Great words. I like
the second.
Dude, that's awesome. And if you're bored, watch Jack Frost.
Yeah, sure, there you go. Yeah, you should buy it or rent it. That actually helped me out.
Oh,
buy it, don't burn it. Didn't that used to be the saying with Napster? Buy it, don't burn it.
Exactly. No illegal stuff here. None of that stuff. All right, brother. We'll talk. I appreciate it. Baby dude out. And check out Cameron Ferre. Awesome, man.